Good morning. Can I order an in-house employee breakfast, please? Thank you. Morning. How are you? Good morning. I just went down and grabbed my breakfast. So today I have like an egg and kimchi scramble and some tater tots. I also grabbed a pastry. This is a kind of a Filipino style pastry. And then I got some coffee to start the morning. If I'm being honest, it's not the easiest thing in the world to go out and get coffee and breakfast before being ready to present myself professionally for the day. But getting this breakfast that's pretty nice. And I don't think it actually has egg in it. I think it's tofu and kimchi vegetables. It's good. It's currently 9:15. I work today at 2 o'clock. And I've got to go into town and go to the store. There's a couple of things I need to pick up. And when you live in a remote area like this, you can't let yourself get behind on supplies. So this is what the inside of the pastry looks like. It's kind of sweet. It's kind of dry, so it's good to have with coffee. And I've never had that before coming here to Lana'i. I believe it's a Filipino style breakfast pastry, but I don't know what it's called. If you know what it's called, then leave it in the comments below. So it's a 1 mile walk down to the store and then 1 mile back. There are 2 grocery stores here in town. I pretty much shop at this one that's called Richard's. It's just slightly closer and better organized, which is primarily why I prefer to go there. Then there's also a few restaurants and a coffee shop, a movie theater in town. So this island has about 3,000 residents, and they pretty much all live in Lana'i City. There's one other area that's kind of populated, and that's down by the beach resort. There are some resort homes there, but primarily most of the full-time residents live right here in Lana'i City. So since this is a remote island, all of our supplies are brought in on a barge, and lately the ocean has been kind of rough. And so for the entire month of January, I don't think the barge made it in as scheduled one single time, and that carried on into February. Unfortunately, that resulted in some supply shortages, including propane. There was a propane shortage that happened island-wide, and so we had to close down a lot of amenities and not do laundry and things like that in order to make it through. Fortunately, the recovery barge did make it through, and hopefully we're back on track soon with the propane here on the island. But yeah, just things that you kind of take for granted a lot of other places, but here it's a little bit different. Kauele in Hawaiian means stormy. So because this is the highest ridge of the island, topping out at about 3,000 feet, whereas obviously the edges of the island are sea level, all of the clouds gather there, and often it rains there when down at the beach it's perfectly sunny and warm. So as we can see, there are clouds gathering up on the hill, on the ridge behind us, but right now I'm in the sunshine with just kind of scattered clouds. And as you would continue on down to the beach, it would get to be about 10 degrees warmer and less clouds. These pine trees are called Cook Island pines. They were planted by George C. Monroe. George C. Monroe was a New Zealander who came here and established ranching on the island. After all of the sort of ranching animals, mostly sheep, destroyed all the endemic vegetation, um, it was really a big problem with erosion, and already the kind of volcanic soil that comprises this island is very porous, and so it doesn't hold water very well. There's actually no running groundwater here on the island whatsoever. And that hasn't always been the case, but it's always been a difficulty here, and especially now with lack of vegetation. So these specific pine trees, these Cook Island pines, the way that their needles are, they help store water and lead it into the ground to help with the groundwater. There are really very few endemic species of plants left on the island, and there are some community efforts to hold off some places with just specific endemic plants, but by and large, this is all just invasive species. There's the movie theater right there. And this is Dole Park.
Para piktam mo na. Lana'i.
Okay, all done at the market. Now I'm gonna walk over to the coffee shop, which is a very rare treat. I think it's only the third time I've had it in the 3 months that I've been here. It's expensive, but today's gonna be a really busy day at work. So I think an extra pick-me-up is in order. Well, the coffee shop is closed. Pretty typical of small town Lana'i is sometimes the restaurants, coffee shops, things are just randomly closed. I'm actually gonna head over to kind of what's the closest thing to fast food here on the island and go to the gas station. Just pick up a coffee or something there. Got a green tea boba bubble tea. Green tea bubble tea. It's okay. The 14th in Costa Rica. So I wanted to compare options and think about like, okay, is it the move for me to go back to San Jose on what they suggest?
Puerto Viejo to San Jose multiple times a day. So,
well, it just turned 1 o'clock and I got back to my room here at about 11:30. I do have to work later today and I'm going to be on my feet for about 8 hours during that time. And then I spent about 40 minutes on the phone with a friend. We're planning some international travel together, and so we were discussing some of the logistics details and just kind of seeing where each other's heads were at about what we want to plan in advance and things that we think we can come up with on the fly and all of that. So just kind of touching base with that because that's coming up pretty quickly. So lately I've been working the 2 o'clock shift and then I work until 10:30 p.m. And so when it hits the 1 o'clock hour, it's really time for me to shift focus and start getting ready for the day. So I'm gonna steam out my uniforms, gonna touch up my appearance, get, my hair tied back and things like that and be nice and professional. I mentioned earlier that I expected it to be really busy at work today, so I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of an idea what that looked like. I'm not really able to take you into work with me. I mean, I think there are very few jobs where that's an acceptable thing to do, but certainly in my position here, in our office, we have a lot of sensitive information about our guests. So regardless of any hotel that I would be working at, I would always want to preserve the security and safety of our guests and not potentially inadvertently expose any personal information. But certainly here, we have a lot of very high profile guests since it is a luxury resort and there are people of extraordinarily high profiles that I have seen while being here. You would know the names. Never say who that person is or exploit that in any sort of way, because it's so wonderful that you have an environment provided that they feel comfortable enough to do that kind of thing when these people are typically running and dodging from the paparazzi, and I can't even imagine how stressful that would be on a day-to-day basis. So I would never want to do anything to compromise that. That was long-winded. Wow, I didn't mean to go into all that. So on a daily basis, what it looks like when I'm working this afternoon shift is I head into work, I get there at 2 p.m. It's the middle of the day. We're doing checkout still, check-in still. I go in, I grab what we call a trip log or a transportation log, because as a retreat host here, I work at the front desk, but we operate a little bit differently where I actually drive either a Tesla or Mercedes Sprinter van to the airport, and from this, it's a smaller airline that's owned by the same company that this luxury resort is owned by, as well as 98% of this island. Same person owns all of it. And so we work really hand in hand together, and that's how we bring our guests into the island most of the time. There is a ferry that also comes from Maui. Regardless of how they're arriving, we will be there to greet our guests, driving them back to the resort. It's about a 10 to 15 minute drive, and providing them with information about the island, information about the resort along the way, getting to know them, building rapport. And then I walk with them through the entire check-in process. We do paperwork together. I walk them to their rooms, make sure that they know how to operate the air conditioning, all of that. Any dinner reservations or appointments or anything like that that need to be confirmed or changed or booked, then I'm there to assist them as a concierge or as a liaison for other departments like spa services. And all of that can take an hour or more. Sometimes it's a much quicker process, especially if somebody's been here before, but usually it's about an hour in order to get them from on the ground into their room, and then to go back to the desk and catch up on all the things that you talked about and all the little things that I have to take care of along the way. And then in addition to doing that process, I'm either performing checkout, sometimes dropping guests off at the airport after their departure, or just answering phones, answering requests, making reservations sort of for the in-house guests in between, as well as doing there's a long list of side work, reports and things that we need to run. And then each evening we do a bulk of the work to prepare for the arrivals the next day. Today we probably have like double the amount of arrivals that we typically have, so I know it's going to be a bit chaotic. Like, I know I will step into the door and just like basically get hit by a wave. Like, it's gonna be like, okay, where are we at? Like, who's out, who's in, what's changed, who's going where, who's coming in next? Like, get the lays ready, people. Like, we gotta move. But it's a little bit exciting. Like, it's kind of exciting, especially now that I've been here longer. I'm able to like get in and get with the flow of things, and able to like take up that information and act on it quickly. I think coming in newer, it's a bit overwhelming, or kind of just like, wait, I don't know like where I fit, what to do. But now that I've been here longer, I can just like jump in and like I know exactly where I'm needed first and the questions to ask in order to like make sure that I'm on the right page. And so yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't have my watch on, it's back on the charger, but I'm thinking it's definitely time for me to go down and grab something to eat real quick before I get busy in the workstation. I don't want to go to work. Don't we all feel that way?
Yeah, thank you.
Come here. Oh my goodness, what you doing? What you doing? Oh my gosh. Oh, yes, that's so nice. Hi, I'm back in my room. I'm on my lunch break right now. It's currently about 6:40 p.m. I do get 30 minutes for my lunch break, and we had like a taco plate for dinner tonight. Definitely the highlight of the day was hanging out with our cat Garfield. He's an older cat and he actually has cancer. We had him staying at what we call the wellness retreat. So here on the island of Lana'i, there is a cat sanctuary that houses over 900 cats. So they kind of like caught all of the feral cats, or most of the feral cats on the island, and if there are any left, then they should be caught and brought to the cat sanctuary where they go and live and have like a nice life where they're taken care of and everything. But Garfield is our cat. Even though he is an outdoor cat, we take care of him so he's not feral. But he's been, ever since he's been back from the cat sanctuary where he had some surgery and some different things done to take care of him, he's been really cute. And like yesterday, I was in the middle of rooming a guest, so I was walking them to their room, and we walked past Garfield, and Garfield has this thing where he comes and stares at me and then just like looks at me and goes, meow, when he wants me to feed him. And so he did that to me. I was like, I'm sorry, Garfield, you're gonna have to wait a second. So of course I went back and fed him, but today he was just laying in the sun on the porch, and the guests love it too. They love to see Garfield, as do all of us staff members. Even if you're not a cat person, you love Garfield. You want this? Oh, I think he just wants love. Oh, so sweet, baby boy.